or like people outside of India trying to
Mm.
teach yoga, like a 30-day yoga session or a challenge. Let's do that. And when I started it, the lady or the guy, they started like, okay, go downward dog. I don't know what downward dog is. Like, what is
Right.
it called? You
Ah.
know, like what asana it is.
Sure,
Like,
sure, sure,
if you want
sure.
to sit down, you have to sit down in Vajrasan. Like, what is Vajrasan right now? You can't. Like, ekadanta hatmukh asan is something, or like shavasana. You just lie down as a like a dead person. Shavasana is that. Yeah.
Now everybody
Like,
knows Susana.
yeah.
That's the one thing.
That's the one thing that everybody knows. Like
That's about it.
Vajrasan. Like there are like 100 asanas which are not known by many people, and
Mm.
to market it, like it's become like people have to understand what is the use of that asana that nobody teaches.
Right. Right. What is the use of it? Because it's purposeful. I mean, at least my understanding, asana really is to get you to the point where you are at a point where you are ready to meditate, that you just can meditate. That's why you do asana, right? Not
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I understand the fun part and all of that. I think the longer I've been doing yoga, the more I'm focused on what is really yoga. You know,
Right.
are you breathing? Are you using pranayama? Are you, the whole thing is sort of lost. And you can find people on Instagram that sort of have made that shift or are making it, but it's, you got to hunt to find that community.
Mhm.
And what's her name? Suzanne? I don't want to say
Oh,
it. I
but with
found
the
I
B, yes. Last name with a B, right?
yeah.
She's in Florida. Yes, yes, yes.
Because being like again like I know for me the way I looked at Susan. Yes, how do you? I don't know how to pronounce it. Susana
Yeah. but but
Barkataki
but
Barakataki.
she's not Indian, I think.
Okay, well, all right, sorry.
Or at
But
least,
still, talks about decolonizing. Like she talks so much about decolonizing yoga, and I think we talked about that yoga is dead
yes,
podcast,
yes, yes,
uh,
yes.
and
Hmm.
all other voices that are coming up in Instagram. That I know I was worried about my big black beautiful body in a yoga class, but dealing like learning more about his culture and learning about how man even as a black person shifting my focus to also how another person is like how frustrating must that be to like see something that's so natural for you or so ingrained in
Hmm.
your everyday culture and you have all this just asinine stuff online and not to like badmouth it or anything, but it's just about us like reconstructing how we
Yes.
look at yoga. And even for me, I'm looking at it a lot differently because I don't have any like I'm closer to India. I'm closer, and I still don't have any like brown instructors, or
No
it's
kidding.
still not
Wow.
diverse, not at
Wow.
all. And even when I went to Goa for like a little yoga retreat, even in Go, and then again, it's the one that I picked. I picked the one that's a little fancier, so it's a little bit on me too what I picked. But it was hard to pick honestly because I'm looking at pictures, and it's in India, and it still wasn't a lot of Indian instructors. It was
Right.
still European or American, and I was like, when does it stop? Like, it's just I'm looking at it even more differently.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
yeah,
So I think the shift is happening more. I
yes,
keep thinking
definitely.
about how to encourage it further. Well, I was in my mind. I'm going.
Yeah,
How could I
it's
hit you
tough,
over the head with
right?
changing?
But
Hmm.
it's tough because I'm sorry. Yeah, because I think it starts with like the fact that we're even thinking about it. Because I didn't know. I'll never forget. Not too long ago, I like used the hashtag now my slay or something, or I had a T-shirt, and now I'm like, oh, and now I'm embarrassed that I even
Yes.
used that. For me, I'm embarrassed because it is taking something that's and again, it's not the intentions. I don't think most people's intentions are
Right.
horrific,
Right.
but
Right.
once your mind's awakened, you don't look at things the same
It's very
anymore.
true.
So I was like, oh God, I had a not my slave shirt. I was like, oh no, I used not my slave hashtag, or I was like, no, auntie. But that was my lesson that I had to learn. It's just again, I'm starting to look at things a lot differently than before. So it's just interesting.
One of the things I always say and have said in doing diversity and inclusion work is you don't know what you don't know. Once you are aware, you're responsible for change, period.
Exactly.
So it's if
Yeah.
you keep it to yourself, you learn something new. And if you keep it to yourself, as opposed to calling people on their stuff, as opposed
Yeah.
to doing something to educate people about it, then what was the point of your learning it? It's like for me, I think I did a video for the YouTube channel or something like that. And I said, Namaste, people. It's a greeting. It's not a closing. And I just said it just like that. And to understand that there's a restaurant here. Fred and I, my husband, we were walking by this restaurant. He goes, yeah, like take a picture of that restaurant. The front of it says Namaste. They're not saying goodbye, don't come in.
Yeah, true.
Right.
Right, right.
Yes.
They're saying you're welcome. Please come in, join us. It was a funny example, but I think at least for me, I find myself having to say something. And a quick example there, um, just recently, you know how now Instagram has you can promote whatever. I haven't promoted anything
Yes.
because you got to pay money to do that. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not paying money to promote this. But someone
Right.
was promoting her skill to teach something, right?
Uh-huh.
I could say who right this minute because I'm kind of working with the person. Um, and I just looked at it, and I'm flipping through, I'm looking at the video and I'm looking and I said, I don't see one black or brown person, not one.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing I did was I said, I am just taken and wonder why there isn't a full range of diversity in these pictures.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's all I said. That's all I said. Now, sometimes people will respond. This person responded back, and I've had that happen, which I'm always a little surprised by. And she said, "I was aware of that and a bit leery about that." And she went to explain that there were a couple of Indians. So then, of course, I almost wanted to start to dive in and talk about colorism. And I said, okay, I'll wait a minute about why I couldn't tell those Indians
Yeah.
were
Let me
Indian. You know
my
what I'm
people.
saying? Exactly. But I
Gotcha.
think there's a certain responsibility, at least for me in my yoga journey, to be able to say to people, or when I see it, I don't see the diversity. Or, there have been times I look and I keep getting, oh, do this challenge. And I go, I'm really aware of the lack of diversity of who's in this challenge, who are the hosts.
Yeah.
I'm aware. And I
Yeah.
don't care if it's all black, honestly. It's like I'm still concerned.
Right.
Now, I know I would feel comfortable
Okay. Yeah.
there, but I'm still concerned. Why is there a lack of diversity there? And then I look at age.
Yeah.
I ain't young, I like to see people who are my age doing
Like,
yoga. Um, Meaning, if I don't see it, if you're not including, like I'm trying to be better about, using those little descriptions. So someone who might be hearing impaired would know. Someone who might be visually impaired still can do yoga, might be able to
right.
hear and
Exactly.
know. You see what I'm saying? Um, but I
Right.
think we're a little long way from that. I think we're getting there, but we're a little long way.
Right, we are, and then I think with like, I think with I was gonna say with like social media, because that's where I spend so much time too.
Yeah.
You just like you feel like with social media, you see how much smaller the world is, how much more connected we are. So why we're still turning a blind eye to like diversity is still mind blowing. Like it's absolutely just like um it's frustrating. And then
Very.
internationally, like I was saying, to be here, it's still no like a lack of diversity. Makes no sense. Like it makes none at all. So where we go from here, I wish I knew.
Yeah.
Um,
I know, huh?
it's just like two. It still feels like two different worlds. And then you brought up some of those challenges. Somebody mentioned to me about there's one lady in particular who does a lot of challenges, and they're like, just be careful, not because it may be free, but she makes a lot of money off of them, and then that money can go to somebody else, like a maybe a less another like smaller person of color, so
Right.
we can really kind of help promote support, like those different voices that you say. Um,
That we're not,
so
yeah, that we're not
yeah,
hearing and that we're not seeing, which is, which is why I
yeah,
started this particular account, and it's growing slowly. It's sometimes very frustrating because I'm like, I don't get it. You all follow me on my yoga account. What's different about me because I'm doing this? Is it because I'm opening my mouth? Why? I mean, really, I'm trying to figure out,
well, that
and then I go, well, okay, no, not everybody's going to be in with the program here, Sharon. So you got to like chill a minute. Uh, Even when I say, if you just follow the YouTube channel, honestly, I don't really care, and I don't if you watch or not. I would love for you to, but the more you follow, the more exposure I get on YouTube for those who would and could benefit from it,
right,
right? So if you care a little bit about who I am, would you please just follow? Maybe even like a video or something. Watching would be wonderful. Watching the whole thing would even be better. Subscribing would be, but could you just do that? Because what happens, and I don't think people are aware unless you happen to be a creator on YouTube, your stuff
mm-hmm.
gets buried. And a lot of stuff for BIPOC folks, I don't care what the topic is. It gets
I was just
buried.
thinking about that.
It gets buried.
Yeah,
It's not visible to people. They don't see it. So you've got to like the wording. It's like marketing is not. Listen, I'm a clinical social worker by training, and I teach at the university. I'm not. I didn't take marketing. This is like a learning curve for me. But you were gonna
right,
say,
yeah,
yeah, you know about that, huh?
I was just saying that, yeah, you're absolutely right. If you're not a creator and you don't have like 100,000 followers on YouTube or
yeah.
something, or like Instagram, you are not visible anywhere.
No.
Like,
Mm-mm.
the algorithm doesn't even like pops up some, like your video doesn't even come up in like the first 1,000 videos.
No. Right.
But I think like going back to that, like thinking about that whole process and then thinking about yoga, I wonder too, that's how people get into just work like doing the fancy yoga poses
Yes.
to get more, to get more visibility, but then that kind of like warps the whole, idea. Like everybody they're afraid of yoga because on Instagram all they see is people in these complicated, but they don't see the struggle, like they don't often get to see the struggle because sometimes too the creator you gotta stand out, but then
Right.
you would hope that people would also see that it takes a lot to get into that. Like
Yes.
it's not just it's a years for some people to get it
Yes.
or to get that I like that yoga. There are some yoga improvement websites that I
Yes.
like,
Mm-hmm.
and they show like to get to here, you need to do this, and I'm like, yeah, because it's
Right.
hard.
Right.
It is. So I always wondered that, like, too, that kind of turned people away, and then going again with like bodies, this real petite people, and like really like, so I don't know. That social media really throws in another wrench to the yoga world too.
Right.
Um,
Because
yeah,
it is a catch 22. You got to find, that's the piece about the marketing. It's like,
yeah,
how do you market, and how do you market a topic that people don't want to talk about? People
yeah.
don't want to talk about discrimination and prejudice. That's not
Oh
something
no.
people go, hello, yes, let's just have that conversation. I love having
Yeah.
this conversation. People don't want to talk about it. They don't want to
Oh,
acknowledge it. They don't want to be introspective that they're a part of it.
yeah.
Um, so it's a tough nut
And,
to
and
crack.
that's why we and I always feel like that's how we can't like really move forward because like I try to be candid about like our relationship. Like I had to I'm sure some of the questions I asked him is like, oh my god, wait, what really? But I had to ask because I don't want to like I need to know or I want to know or I want to
Hmm.
get things right like going to Indian going to a wedding I worried about appropriations or like certain
Yes.
things but it was no it wasn't a big deal at all but still I worried about
Of
that
course, because
so
you're aware and you know how it happens. Like, am I going to be looked at weird because I decide that this is a really pretty sari? I ain't never wore a sari before in my life, but this is pretty. But am I appropriating your culture because I put it
yeah,
on? I would want to know that,
right,
honestly.
right. It's some vulnerability that has to go into it and it's a and it's just yeah vulnerability and just sometimes you're gonna sound stupid and it's okay sometimes you just
Thank you.
don't know
That's right.
and you're gonna learn and you'll sometimes say things that are you're like where the other person will be like why?
Why are
But
you
it's
asking
just
me that?
if you don't have those conversations then it's you're really not it really just doesn't help the relationship because
No,
I mean we're literally from two different parts of the world
for
and we're
sure.
bonded by like certain things that we have in common or what bind us but still like I don't know like just even how we communicate with each other we just still have to be very aware like very open even when it's really hard it's really hard
I can
sometimes
imagine. I'm not going to ask, but I can
ah we have no shame
I have actually
no shame
graduated from like 3 minute phone talk to about 10 minute
he
phone talk.
does he's so
Oh,
beautiful
good for
he's
you.
not a phone talker. He's a talker. He's just not a
Like in the
phone
beginning, it
talker.
was like a little rude for me to say I'm done.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I'm
Oh,
done. See ya.
I'm like, could you at least just say, "Oh, I need just make up something," and then like, no, like so no, and then like with yoga, we like our what? Well, I don't think you practice as much. He
Mm-mm.
doesn't practice as much as
And
I when I was regular, but we tried some meditation together, which was
yeah,
funny.
I do meditation.
Yeah, he's more of a
I,
meditator.
I do meditation.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Which is yoga. It's just the other arm.
Yeah, just add up to it. And then it was cool because one of his friends, it was your friend, right?
Yeah.
Who he hosted it a meditation, like a training. So it was
Oh,
really different than what I was used to in America, because it gets a little frivolous. So it was just more like raw. Like for me, it was more like raw, more like really going into why we're doing this. And
right.
so to me, it was really fascinating. It was hard for me because to me, I need, because for me, where's the candles? Where's the salt
Yeah,
lamps?
yeah, yeah.
Like what? And then I asked him, I was like, what should I wear? Like, should I wear this? Should I wear that? How does it go? Because again, we for yoga again Americanized, you get into the aesthetics more than
Yes.
it just show up as you are. It doesn't matter. And I'm
Right.
like, should I use my room spray to like set the mood? And he's just like, put the mats out. Let's go.
Let's go. Oh, wow.
It's
That's
just
really
so funny.
interesting. Have you meditated for long? Yes. Vilas?
Uh, like about couple of months now.
Uh-huh.
Like I've been on and off, but like I've been trying to meditate regularly for a month now, but uh, on and off, I think couple of months.
How
Mm-hmm.
many minutes?
I can do one sitting I can do at least 40 minutes.
That's really good.
I
40
think
minutes is good. I've gotten up to 45, but I don't do that regularly. I mean, honestly, I don't do that
I've
regularly.
come to the stage. I've come to the stage where I can now understand if my mind diverts, I need to get it back to not
Right.
anything. Like it's okay to get all the what do you call it? It's like
your
the thoughts.
yeah,
Yes,
your
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
wandering
the
thought.
random wandering thoughts. It's okay to get them, but the purpose of meditation is to get back on track and
Right.
like try to absorb all the good energy that you can get.
Right. Right.
It should calm you down. Like what I think about when I meditate is something about work, something which I've done wrong in like in the past, or something, uh, some other stuff like random thoughts. But what
Hmm.
matters is, can I just leave all those behind and like
Right.
get back to what I was trying to do, like meditate and not actually think about anything.
Not yeah, which is hard because it's normal
Yeah,
to.
Yeah,
I always tell people it's normal to have the thoughts, and your point is exactly what you say. Is the point is, can you get back to just shifting, observing the thought, and not getting in it, so to speak,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
get yourself back. Yeah. And I
yeah.
always tell people, well, how do you empty your mind? I said, you're never going to empty your mind.
Mm.
It's it's never going to
Oh,
be empty. The point is, can you get yourself? Can you use your breath and your breathing to get back to that point where you are relaxed? Because when you get to that point, so many things can happen for you. Yeah, I just put it that way, and I think it's individual in terms
yeah.
of visualizations and things that come to
Okay,
you.
yeah.
And it's been fascinating for me. I've been meditating for a really long time, and it is
Mhm.
actually the arm that brought me to the asana arm.
Oh,
I wasn't a physical practitioner at all. I mean,
okay.
and I wouldn't have. I didn't even know meditation was was a part of yoga. I mean, I
Mhm.
really didn't. Um,
Okay.
but it's fascinating to see what that's done for me coming in from the other side of things.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah, kind of going with that mental part first,
yeah.
and then, yeah,
And
and
then
then,
it's just and then falling into the physical part, and it's like, oh, this is interesting. So and I've not met a lot of people that was their first intro, so to speak.
yeah,
It,
because I think it seems like most people with meditation, it's still kind of like this scary. I think sometimes it's scarier than doing physical yoga because like tapping into your mind and all these things, it's so challenging.
it
It
is.
really,
It is, but you know what I think, at least for me, being someone who, as a trained clinician, therapist,
yeah.
you utilize things like visualization and relaxation. Well, I did in my practice with patients and
Ah,
clients. So it wasn't a big leap,
okay.
because in essence, that's what you're teaching somebody, but you're maybe using different terminology, right?
Right.
So the leap is well, with visualization, you're really asking people to visualize something. So it is a focused attention,
Mhm.
blocking other things out, but a focused attention.
Right.
So a real quick example is I used my population when I worked at a mental health clinic as clinical director, and it was always adolescents, fun population. I actually liked working with them, but nonetheless, there was this young man. He was I think he was a senior at the time. I started as a junior, but as a senior in high school being scouted for baseball. And he started
Ah,
to freeze
okay.
on the field because people, scouts were coming to watch.
That's all that pressure.
Yeah. And
Mm.
so working with him, what's the way? I said, well, this is the method I'll use to get you so that you are not looking up at the stands going, oh my God, there are five scouts, oh my God, I can't do this, you know, but that
Right.
you can focus yourself, which is a different kind of focused attention meditation, right? Um, so that you can put that out of your mind, calm yourself, and visualize yourself swinging the bat and hitting. You know,
Wow.
not
Yeah.
so it wasn't. That's just an example, but it's not a far leap from
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
being able to. I mean, there's lots of ways people meditate. You meditating if you're walking on the beach and you're
Yeah.
looking at the sand. You're in that
Yeah.
moment. You're not going, oh, sand. How many pieces of sand? You know what I'm trying to say? You're just in the
That's just that
moment.
reflection.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Got it.
You're more aware of your surroundings, and you're
Yeah,
able
Mm-hmm.
to focus more on what you try to do.
right. It's
Right.
very true. It's very true. It's been
Right.
a lifesaver for me.